I was just turning 40, coming out of Aruba. One of my colleagues was like, oh my God, you should really check this out. And when I got there, completely blown away. Just the amount of connections I made, small businesses, agencies, the information. You were super inspiring. I've done all this in like a year's time. I thought it was thoughtfully curated. Every speaker kind of allowed some extra time to make sure that they connected genuinely with people. Were so open. And I just love that. I definitely appreciated that for sure.
All right, Megan, how are you today?
I'm great, Eric. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. And you were mentioning this is like our 1 year anniversary.
Yes, that is so, it's crazy. About this time last year, we were getting ready for the, you gonna edit this? Hopefully good. I was trying to make sure I'm pronouncing the
That's
government
okay.
contract or contracting, what is it? Contracting Summit,
Uh-huh.
Contracting Connections, right? Yes, from Contracting Connections 2023, where
Right.
I was an attendee, and now we're full
Okay.
circle. And 2024 is upon us, and now I am assisting your team with the event management.
Now
Yes.
tell me, how did you come to find out about the event last year?
It's interesting, power of your network. So at the time, I had just made the decision I was just turning 40, and I was like, you know what? Done with corporate America. I'm going to start my own thing. And I was coming out of Aruba from my 40th birthday week of celebrations, and I had a layover in Miami, and it just so happened to align perfectly with your event. One of my colleagues in Miami, who I had recruited like a year or so before for her now job in PR and communications, had some clients that were attending, and she was like, oh my God, you should really check this out. I know you're pivoting now, and this event may be a great opportunity for you. So I said, you know what, say less. I booked my flight, hotel, room, everything immediately. Didn't know much about anything. I just knew I was transitioning in this space, and I wanted to soak up as much knowledge and information as I could going into this journey. And when I got there, completely blown away. Just the amount of connections I made, just genuine small businesses, agencies, the information. You were super inspiring. I've been down the whole rabbit hole of GovCon Giant since. And I just remember walking away from the conference thinking I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. And since then, I flew back to DC, which obviously is the government contract mecca, and have engulfed myself in events and partnerships and networking, and now just was able to get the opportunity to help support you with this year's conference. Also, I have an HR consulting company as well, and so I've embarked on my first contract there. All of this in less than a year.
Wow.
And it really all started from attending the GovCon Contracting Connections conference a year ago. So it's crazy.
So you come back from Aruba, and a colleague of yours said, hey, there's this event coming up. And you
Yes.
just happened to be laying over in Miami during the same time.
Literally, and just stayed, and they had to book
And
another
just
flight
went to
home.
the event. And not knowing,
Yes.
and you trusted this person, right? You're like, okay, well, that's cool. It sounds good. And you're like, you just went. But there was
That was
something
it.
else, right, that happened also. I mean, you went to the conference, but at the conference, we then went to the after event.
Mm-hmm.
And so tell us about that.
Yeah, so I'm leaving the hotel. It's a bunch of people standing outside. I end up hopping in a group Uber with you, right, of all
Right.
people,
Right.
and ride to the after party. We have this, of course, amazing time at the rooftop event,
Uh-huh.
and and we got a chance to actually get to know you on a personal level. And I think I told you, I was like, hey, I'm just brand new to this whole space, not brand new to what I do, but brand new to
Right.
this space. And I think I told you how inspired I was by your story and what you built. And, I think you had put together the conference like relatively quickly, and
Right.
just the impact and just just the energy in the space was just, it was contagious. Just the way everybody was connecting, how, I remember as soon as you walked in the room, like standing ovation. And I was thinking, wow, like this guy is amazing. And then, just your story and just all the education that was shared and just all the genuine connection. I think that was what I was most impressed about, is, you walk in and out of each conference room, and, you listen to the speakers, and you learn just, for somebody like me. And I always say this conference is literally for everybody. If you started literally your government contract business yesterday, this conference is for you. If you've been in the industry 20 years, this conference is for you. And everybody in between. That's really kind of hard to do sometimes, to make sure artfully curated an event that really speaks to everybody within a particular space. And I'm sure this year is going to be even bigger, even better. But I remember leaving I cannot wait for this next year. And I may or may not have manifested, being a part of it this year on the back end. But we're here now, and I couldn't be more excited.
No, that's good. So since you left, tell us about your growth, because you kind of give us a high level overview, but you're working with some national organizations. Can you name names?
Yeah. Got back, as I told you, just engulfing myself in a lot of the tools and information that you all shared at Contracting Connections in 2023, and kind of just finished that out for the year, and then just started intentionally making connections since then. From my HR consulting company, I've was able to secure a contract with a cybersecurity company, woman-owned, minority-owned, veteran-owned, and so doing some outsourced staffing and recruitment for that company. And then of course, now working with you, ideally my dream client, right, in the event management space, doing a government contract event. So it's just been an amazing journey. But I think what's more exciting is that I've done all this in a year's time, less than a year's time. And I think that just speaks to, the amount of information, resources, everything that you gave, really taking those and implementing those when I got back, and really building a strategy and a plan for how I wanted my business to look moving forward. And, everybody jokes oh, the government's slow, but there's so many different angles and ways that you can make genuine connection and get legitimate business. I didn't necessarily get a direct, prime contract from the government per se, but what I was able to do was connect with a ton of organizations that were either primes themselves or subs of primes. And then my business and services were able to support them. And so the whole ecosystem, comes together collectively for us all to be successful.
Wow. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who else do you remember that you met there last year?
Oh my gosh. And what's wild is people still check in on me. I remember,
really?
Yeah, I met a gentleman in Nashville, Tennessee. I met obviously some native Floridians. I came all the way to Florida to also connect with people in my home area of DC, Maryland, Virginia. I met a girl who actually, I think she said she had been following GovCon Giants on YouTube since its inception. She was also new to the space, had just gotten a brand new contract when I met her last year. She was out of Houston. So really, it was people from all over the country, and it was just such a warm, just community of professionals who just were so intentional about really just connecting with people from all over. And we also check in with each other at least once a quarter. We'll check in on text or email or even a phone call just to see what's working in your business. What success have you had, and just kind of knowledge sharing. And everybody seems to be doing extremely well in their businesses, which I didn't doubt, right? From coming from the conference, just all of us gaining so much. So, yeah.
No, that's interesting because, when I had the idea to put together an event, what I wanted to make sure that was inclusive, right? And I didn't want people who were younger and who were unfamiliar with the government space to not feel like they were welcomed. And so it's the reason why I decided I want to reach out to you, because you said to me, hey, I never did this before. And I wanted to see, hearing from someone who had, obviously, you've never been in this industry, you had never been to an event like this, and to see kind of what was your experiences, because we want to make it better. We want to make sure that we did do our job of making it inclusive to folks who, like yourself, who had no experience, who were brand new to the space, and giving them enough tools to take back and to be able to utilize and put into work and action so they can start having progress and success in their business. So would you say we did that?
I would say you all were extremely successful.
Okay.
This is about, like, obviously I've attended a multitude of events in the last year, and,
Sure.
you don't always come away necessarily thinking, oh, I can't wait to get back. But your event truly was that. I mean, obviously it helps being in Miami Beach. I mean, let's be honest, right? Weather's
Okay.
beautiful, right? But it's, you walk out and look at the beach, but just overall, like how it was structured, I really appreciated. And I couldn't wait to, that's why I reached out to you. I was like, I would love to be a part of it this year. Having been a part of so many different types of government contracting events in my home area, there's so many things, ideas of just ways I can help, to implement and make it even more engaging and more and enhance the connectivity. But I thought it was thoughtfully curated. Absolutely. Just down to every little detail. Just, how at the end of every session, there was always, every speaker kind of allowed some extra time to make sure that they connected genuinely with those in the room. Like, you don't always see that when you go to a conference. And I just really appreciated just, I was getting people's legitimate cell phone numbers. I mean, people were so open, and I just love that. And just, just in general now, it's just hard to get a genuine, authentic connection, and really be able to follow up and people respond and engage you and
Mm.
really try to help you. So I definitely appreciated that for sure.
Tell us about some of the events that you've gone to or attended over the last year. Tell us
Mhm.
what those were like. Tell us,
Oh,
just, so because someone listening to this might say, well, yeah, she's pumping up this kind. Tell us about some of the other experiences that you've had, maybe that
oh,
just to, people have an understanding of like what, because you didn't know. So now
right.
this is your bar. So
It was my
now how,
bar, right?
right. And it could
Right.
be, maybe the bar is here, maybe it's up here. I don't know. But
Yeah.
so just tell us about some of the other conferences that you've attended this
Okay.
year
So leaving
and what they're
your
like.
I came back. So for instance, I'm in Washington, D.C. So like,
Right.
one of the events I attended right after I left yours was one at the Department of Transportation, right? Like the
Okay.
headquarters, right?
Yep.
So, Pete Buttigieg like was addressing the crowd, so it's, for those that don't know, the Secretary, was he Secretary of State, I think?
Undersecretary or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Undersecretary.
But
Right.
yeah. So, I'm legitimately in the government agency spaces. And so when I compare those sorts of events, they're structured, usually those are typically 1-day events sometimes.
Mhm.
But then, they'll have conferences at like the National Harbor in the
Right.
right on the border of DC. It's like a, conference venue. They have, different conferences at the Gaylord that'll span a few days. But oftentimes they're sometimes too large to where it becomes sometimes difficult to really make the intentional connections. And the one thing I really liked that you did was, when we had the, when you go to the 1-day events, it's super structured, right? It's like you have your speakers at this time, right? You might have 15, 20 minutes to try to interact with folks as they're running out of the space, right? To get to their
Mm.
car, and hopefully they don't have a ticket on it and they got to go get to pick up their kids and do this or do that or catch the
Right.
train. So it's hard to kind of really genuinely network. And even the 2 or 3-day ones in this area, sometimes they're almost too large. So, but you having that extra like rooftop event to kind of end the conference last year, where
Right.
different people I've seen in different panel rooms, even if
Mm.
I didn't get to talk to them for long, we could like exchange info and say, hey, I'll catch you later. And then actually go and have a drink and chit chat and genuinely learn a lot more about their background and experience. I just think when you really can get to know someone on a personal level and then understand how they develop their business, or how their services are structured and their real why, I think that even makes your relationships that much stronger. And so when you embark on potentially a business partnership or a teaming partnership or whatever it is, you really can kind of come in really knowing what you can expect from that relationship. So, and it just builds a solid foundation, to be quite frank, so yeah.
That makes sense. Is
Mm.
there anything for the people listening to this that you should tell them to do to get prepared for this year's event? Like, should they be doing something now? Is there something they could be doing to prepare?
Yeah, I would say definitely have, if even if you're brand new to the space, Google capability statements, right? Like, make sure you have those on hand. Even if you have a digital card, have it linked to your digital card, have it printed out if you want to be able to hand them out. Your obviously business card goes without saying, whether digital or you have the handheld, either way works. Just make sure people can get in touch with you. Charge your phone, right? Make sure you got a Mophie, you got a power pack so that phone doesn't die if your business card is digital. Also, it would be helpful, tap in GovCon Giants YouTube, get a little background information before you go. I didn't have that prior background, but then getting introduced to it, when I would go back in at night, the first night I was like, let me tap in on a couple of videos just to kind of get myself, kind of well-versed and get a deeper understanding of you and why you built this community. And that was helpful going into day two, because I'm like, okay, this all kind of started to come together for me. But yeah, that's always helpful. And then two, like, there's so much information out there, you have a good sense for those that are attending or thinking about attending. You kind of know what agencies are going to be there. Do a little background and research on those agencies. Get a sense of, companies and the types of industries you want to connect with. Can't hurt to have a brief little elevator pitch prepared, because sometimes it's you're going to meet so many dynamic individuals. Sometimes you're going to have to kind of catch a person. You might have a couple quick short minutes before you got to jump to another panel session. Just be able to kind of run off like what you do and how you can be impactful to others, but also how you can serve them, right? I think, so oftentimes we want to kind of push out what we can do, but how can you do something for someone else? I think that also is, something that, would be beneficial going into the conference.
No, I like it. That looks great. That's great. What are you expecting this year?
Oh, I think most excited to really see the behind the scenes and how I can really bring my expertise, in event management, to help things run as smoothly as possible and seamless. I'm also excited to meet all the new faces that'll be there, connecting with different agencies and different small businesses around the country. What else? Excited for the yacht. Always set the bar so high with the post events. So definitely excited about that being on the.
For the yacht, make sure you bring all white. We're doing all white.
We love it. I will be ready. I'll have a couple of numbers to choose from.
Okay. All right.
Definitely looking forward to that. What else? Let me see. I've heard that there's going to be some matchmaking going on this year.
Yeah, we're doing matchmaking this year.
Business owner, an agency, that is gold. So super excited for that. And yeah, just overall, just soaking in all the knowledge and information, continuing to grow professionally, personally, and, helping to get all types of different tools and resources to continue to grow my business, and just can't wait for what 2025 is going to bring. Right. So,
I love it. No, listen, well, Megan, again, we appreciate you helping us. Appreciate you for reaching out to us and letting us know, that you want to be involved. And we're happy that we're able to play, some part in your journey, and from transitioning from corporate to, contracting and on your own. I know that it's difficult sometimes, right? When you take that leap of faith and you're not sure, like, where do I start? Where am I investing my resources? Because we all have limited resources, finite. And so thank you for taking a chance with us and allowing us to, basically show you, right, why, how we got here. Because for me, we're mission first, and we want to help those that are disenfranchised, those that don't have all the resources, those that, like I said, the left behind and forgotten, the people that need an extra boost. And so, that's the reason why I do this. That's the reason why I'm investing heavily. That's why I'm continually to push and to fight to get more government agencies to come talk to our community, because we are truly the undiscovered community that's going to help make America continue to be the nation that it is. And so I know that it's those persons like yourself who, again, you have the experience, you have the wherewithal, but you just have not brought it to the agency side, and they haven't met you yet. And so we want to try and get you exposed to them and them exposed to you, and so that we can continue to develop those partnerships, strengthen our
Yeah.
relationships, and grow and scale together. So thank you for coming on
Thank
today.
you.
Appreciate
Yeah.
it. And we look forward to seeing you
All
conference
right.
time.
We'll see you in November. Yeah.
See you in
Have a
November.
good one.
Thanks, Megan. All right.
Thank you so
Bye.
much. All right. Bye-bye.